So welcome to part 2 of making a case to be cut out on the laser engraver. So what I've got right now is I've got an end piece. You can see up top here, this is the end. And if I click down on the Creo here, you can see I got the side and the base. I'm going to click on side. See how it's got a red circle with a not sign through it, or basically, you can't edit it. If I press Control and A, it makes this one active. Okay, so I can now edit it, and you can see all the numbers up here highlight, or all the words up there highlight. Okay, if I go to base, the menu, again, the menu up top here, everything's blacked out, but as soon as I press Control A, now it becomes the active one. Okay, so just something to know. Now, I want to assemble this. So I have all three pieces now drawn, and I'm going to assemble them into one. So I go to New, and this time I go Assembly, and I'm going to call this the case now. Okay, maybe I'll call this laser case. Laser, and remember no spaces, underscore case. Right, so click on OK, and now it comes up with a whole new menu structure, and you still have your planes. Okay, and over here you're going to have your assembled pieces in your model tree. So I'm going to click on Assemble, and I'm going to grab the base, and the base now comes in, and what I'm basically going to do is lock it into place so all the pieces get joined to it. So up top here, instead of automatic, I'm just going to come down to default, and that just locks it into place so it doesn't move, and everything else joins to it. And you can see here status, it says fully constrained, and it changed colors to orange. It means it's locked. Okay, and I just hit the check mark for OK. And you can see over here now the first piece shows up. So next I go to assemble, I get the next piece, and let's go with the sides first. Okay, and now the sides come in, and I want to put them on end on this case. So if I want, I can spin this, okay, and I can just drag it. I'm holding my left mouse button down, and if I want to drag it up, I can take the red here and drag it up. So it kind of puts it in a position. You can see now there's all these planes are in place. Sometimes they're useful, sometimes they're not. I'm going to get rid of it all just so you can see better. So I can up here and go select all and get rid of them all, and then it just cleans it up a bit. If you don't even like basically all the arrows and things here, you can actually come up right here and hide 3D dragger and click it off. Okay, so I'm going to actually hide all that right now. So I want to line up this edge. So what happens is when I highlight an edge, you can see, or a side, you can see it highlights, and I'm going to join it and make it parallel to right here. Okay, and it's not the word parallel, it's actually coincidence. What it means is that is lined up to that edge. So when I turn it, you can actually see they're lined up now. Okay, now you can see it's on an angle. I want to line up this edge, or this side, to that. Okay, now you can see it says angle offset. I don't want an angle. I want it to be coincidence, as in square to it or flush to it. So I'm going to come up here and change it to coincidence, and you can now see that it's attached. Now the last problem is you can see they're not the same height. Okay, and I actually want the bottom of this to that, or to the top surface of that. So I'm going to turn this dragger on. And you can also see the only distance I can, or direction I can move it now, is up and down. I can't even move it side to side. So I'm just going to take, oops, I double click by accident. So if you double click by accident, what you got to do is you got to come in here, highlight the part you're working on. You can see it's highlighted over here. Right mouse click, and you go edit definition. Okay, and now I'm back to this, and I can drag it if I want to kind of place it somewhere, but I want it exact. So I'm going to basically take and highlight this surface. Then I'm going to scroll upside, or kind of rotate upside down. I'm going to grab that surface, and you can now see that it's changed to orange. You can see they all three say coincidence, and you can see right here status fully constrained is what you want. And I click OK. Okay. Now you can see how kind of, they kind of mush into one. It's kind of hard to see them. Okay, what I like to do also is right here under display style, click shading with edges, and that just gives an edge to it so you can actually see it a bit easier. Okay, so I got my one side done. Now I'm going to put my two ends here and over here, and then I'll put my other side finally. So I'm going to go assemble, grab an end, I'm going to take that end, and I'm just going to turn it up on the edge like this. I'm going to drag it over here for something to do, and I'm going to say that surface there. It doesn't matter what order you do this in, that surface to that surface. Now it says distance, and I want it coincidence. So I'm going to go to coincidence right here. And then I want this surface here, and I want this piece to actually go to the attached to it. Again, it says distance, so I'm going to go coincidence. And finally, I want this surface here to be the same as, I'll go to this one here, to that one there. Okay, and now you can see they're all in place. Okay, Now, remember my math earlier? That piece was a bit shorter. You can see there's a little bit left over. That's for the last side piece to go on the end there. I'm going to click OK. Okay, I'm going to take this. I'll do one more. Assemble, end. Take this guy, rotate it, put it over here, and again, I'll just take this. I'll take this one here this time, that one to there. It's called coincidence. I want this one here to this one. You can see how far out we are still. That one to there. Get rid of the distance. Go to coincidence, and finally, I want this surface here to this bottom surface there. Okay, and again, distance is there, so I go coincidence, and now you can see they're lined up. And again, there's that last little bit left over. Okay, because this piece has to be shorter than these outside pieces, and I'll click OK. Okay, just zoom out here, scroll over, holding the Shift key down while I hold the mouse key or the center mouse key down to do that again. Okay, and finally my last piece, I go assemble, I go back to the side, and I'll just drag it over to here, spin it. You don't have to do all this, but it's just easier sometimes, I find, just to kind of put it into a position where you think you know it should go. Okay, so I'm going to put that edge there to here, and that should be coincidence. And you can see they actually are lined up, right? Like that doesn't look like they're lined up, but when you spin it, they actually are. Okay, and then I want this one here to be to that side or face there. They're lined up, and then this one here to be this one here. Okay, and you see that one does distance, so I just change this one to coincidence. And Control D, I'm going to put my box in the middle. You can now see there's my box. And I click OK, and there's my box made, and basically it all fits together. Okay. Now here's a cool thing. I forgot to put a hole in for a switch, or I forgot to put a hole in for an LED. So let's say I wanted to add a hole for this top piece. Okay, and I wanted to put a hole for an LED in there. What I do is I click on it, and then I would sit there and go say, okay, hang on a second, that is my base, right? I would right mouse click on it, and I just go open. What it does is it takes me back to this original piece here. I can click on it. Okay, I can go over here, go section, and I could right mouse click, go edit definition, and I could put a hole in it. Okay, and just add my hole, just hit OK. When I hit OK, there would be my hole done. Right, now here's a cool thing. I just hit save, OK, and I go back to my assembly. Okay, so laser case, see I can't edit it. You can see the things there, and I hit Control A, and now I am there. And there's my added hole. Right, now obviously that's probably the wrong size for an LED, but you know, you get my point. Okay, so I'm going to stop at this point. Okay, and the next step is going to be you'll find a file that will get you from this shape to a flat 2D surface so that you can actually get it to the laser engraver. There's actually multiple steps here, right? And this is just, you know, one basic tutorial, but that's basically how to create a box. Okay, thank you very much, and go on to the next tutorial to how to get it to lay flat.